We were at Balboa Park on a date, and we went to this the observatory, and we were in line, and a lady fainted, and he's a fireman, so he went straight to her, and I was so impressed about how gentle and kind and soft and reassuring he was to this lady. I even started crying because I was so impressed.
Mhm.
And I thought, oh, wow,
Wow.
yeah, this is going to be great. So, um, fast forward, we got married.
Love stories fill us with joy and inspire hope for the future. And a true life romance can remind us that sometimes just one spark is all it takes to change everything. Hello and welcome to Unexpected Love Stories. I'm your host, Dawn Prushkovsky, and today I'm so excited for you to meet my guest and hear her story. Connie Stilson began her career as a high school history teacher and a coach for girls basketball, both in Idaho and in Texas. But then she married her husband, Patrick, in 1985, where they lived in Leona Valley. And then she began to teach elementary school, and she continued until she retired. She and Patrick have two beautiful daughters and two wonderful son in laws and seven grandchildren. I'm so grateful because she's not just a friend, but she's also my cousin. So she's an incredible part of my life. And the reason why I really wanted her to share her story with you so much is because her love story was the first time that I ever noticed that God really knows us and He's invested in our love lives and that He'll go to extreme lengths if we let Him to bring us the spouse that is our true counterpart. So I'm going to bring her on. Hi, Connie. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Um, as you said before, uh, you're without spouse right now. He's on the plane to the
Yep.
Philippines to do some ministry there. Um, I really, really wanted to bring out and share your story. I think because it's not only just, as I said, the first story that I really paid attention to where God was involved in it, but it's also your pre-story, your journey until that
Hmm.
is a journey that so many of us women and men too go through. I think that we often think we have to look for somebody and we have to um, put ourselves out there in ways that aren't healthy, aren't safe. And then when things go wrong, we tend to blame ourselves and say, what's wrong with me?
Yep.
What do Yep. So, so usually this is where I say, like, how did you meet him? And let's start our journey there. But yours doesn't start there.
No.
We have to, we have to kind of go back and cover the journey that led you to Pat in order to hear the real story
Yeah.
behind the story.
Yeah. The miracle
So
that happened.
yes, yes. So
That can happen when you let.
bring us up to date
All right.
with
Well,
this.
um, honestly, I think my story started when I went away to college. Now, I grew up in a
Hmm.
little tiny town in Idaho called Glenns Ferry, teeny, teeny. And I wanted to go to college, and I was really excited. Just I get away, start my life,
Hmm.
you know.
Hmm.
Um, and I was so excited to go to school. And back then, um, people still considered, if you're going to go to college, you need to either go into education or clerical work. Um, really,
For women.
for women, and that was
Yeah.
something that I was totally uninterested in. In fact, I wanted to be an FBI agent, but my counselor completely laughed me out of the room. So um, I went for a history major because I like history. And then I think subconsciously, even though I tell myself that's not what I'm doing, I'm not at college looking for a husband, that's what I was doing. Um, I was really focused on um, cute boys. They had to look cute and dating and all that kind of stuff. And like you said, went out in all the wrong ways and made a lot of mistakes. Um, After I graduated, I was at loose ends and didn't know uh, where I wanted to go because I didn't get a teaching credential because I said I would never teach
Mm-hmm.
because my parents are both teachers and I saw the work that
Mm-hmm.
went into it and how awful it was. I just thought it was a terrible place. But then I went to San Francisco and I was going to make my life there. However, I soon found out that a little girl from Glens Ferry, Idaho has no business in San Francisco. But that's where I had a dinner with my Uncle Jerry, who is Dawn's father. And he was worried about me then because he saw the roads I was taking. And he said, if you ever need me, call me. Okay. So I went on my merry way, and there was this one guy who really thought that I was great. And he was very, seemed to have it all together. I would be financially secure. I would be safe. I'd have all the things that I thought I wanted. So I married him. Well, I was 23 years old and had no business being married because I had no idea what marriage was about. So 6 years we stayed together. And on the other hand, he wasn't ready either. And there were a
Mm-hmm.
lot of things that happened and some betrayals and some hard things. So we divorced. Well, because I could coach basketball there, I was able to go to El Paso, Texas, and I loved it there. And for 2 years, I was really into coaching and um, trying to find that guy. So,
Mm-hmm.
where do you
Of
go when?
course, we're always trying to find that guy.
Yeah. So I'm
That
30
guy.
years old now, and I had a roommate who loved drinking, so we were always going to the bars. Well, that was really stupid. But she also had a really great job where she met a lot of uh, interesting people. And
Mm-hmm.
this one, I went out to dinner with her and this one guy named Andy Pilgrim once, and he was from England, a race car driver, just really exciting. And he stole my heart. I'd never had that experience where
Uh-huh.
I gave my heart. Um, and so for 2 years, I thought everything was wonderful. I
So
didn't marry him. Go ahead.
what was it about him that stole your heart? Like what I'm just trying to come up with so
I
that
don't know. We
people
could
can
just
hear
talk.
like a warning.
Yeah. We could just talk and talk and talk and talk. And he was interested in all the things I was interested. And
Mm.
we just, you know me, Dawn. You know that I love to laugh
Mhm.
and have fun and goof off. Well, he
Yeah.
was that way too. Just, but the good thing was he wasn't a drinker or a smoker, so I stopped going to bars. So that was good.
Okay.
Um, and yeah, I don't know, felt like this was it.
Mhm.
Well, I was with him, I think it was going on 3 years, and um, he just up and found a new girlfriend, moved to Dallas, um, broke my heart.
But without any warning?
Yeah, kinda. I mean, yeah, I had no idea that he was seeing this girl. She actually was the receptionist at the optometrist I was going to. So I would be going there and she would know who I was. But that's how he met her,
Mm.
was at the optometrist. But anyway, um, so he left me devastated. And that was in October of 84. or maybe 83. No, 84, I think. And I was struck numb. I couldn't think. I couldn't do anything. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I stayed home from school. I used up all my days because I just couldn't even function. Well, one night, sitting in my apartment and the sun was going down, I remembered Uncle Jerry saying, um, what he did, if you ever need me, just call. So this was back in the days when the phone was hooked to the wall too. So I went over and I was sitting on a chair and it was getting dark. And I called Uncle Jerry and said, "Do you remember when you said if I ever needed anything, I could call?" And and he, of course. And um, then we planned a visit, and I went out there in October, and we made a plan that I would finish teaching that year, and then
Mm-hmm.
I would go to San Diego, and that's what we did. And in the meantime,
So
that
because I'm trying to remember, did you stay all the way until like
May,
June?
May,
Okay, until May.
yeah, they
All
get
right.
out into
And
May,
I have to say, my dad loved you so much.
and I loved him too. He was my Uncle Jerry. So
And you were his Connie Jean.
I know that was the best. Um, so in that time period from October to May, Andy kept breaking up with girls, and then he'd call me and come back into my life and come visit and kind of string me along, and it just was a continuous heartbreak. And I knew I just had to get over him. I knew I needed to give it
Hmm.
all up, but I couldn't. Um, and
And you could,
it's
who needs to be the backup plan?
Yeah, but I was, I don't know. Anyway, so we went through that whole year, and in May I moved out to
Hmm.
San Diego, and Dawn will tell you she was just thought I was the most wonderful person, walking around in my long blue robe with blue dots, looking like
On
Eeyore.
your earrings.
Yeah,
Yes, you wore
blue
these
dot earrings,
same earrings,
looking like Eeyore, laying on the
closing
bed.
yourself.
Huh?
Yeah, closing yourself in your bedroom.
Yeah, Dawn would be bugging
And
me, but I'd just stay in there.
I, I would throw open the door, run and jump onto her bed.
And I would
Hey, what do
try
you
to
want to
be
do
nice,
today? Hey,
but it worked. You got
let's
me
go
out of
do
my
something.
cocoon after a while. What was it, about
It's
two
San
or 3 months?
Diego. Let's go do something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And still, Andy was still coming over. He even came to San Diego. Remember that?
I remember.
Uh,
And met his family.
yeah, and he wasn't the most attractive guy. I mean, he was okay. I don't know what, I can't tell you, but it was um, just very connected to him. So then I got a job at Seaport Village. I was doing some substitute
Hmm.
teaching. You and I were having lots of fun, going all kinds of places, and you had your little yellow bug, and we'd cruise around. But
Hmm.
just healing. Your family gave me a year to just heal. I wasn't
Uh-huh.
expected. There wasn't anything expected of me. Um, I was just brought in like I was your sister, and
Hmm.
yeah, just that was the whole thing, just healing. And then it was um
And then we had Connie. We had our Connie Jean.
yeah, Connie
You
Jean.
were
I'd
you
come
were
in the
this. You
door
were
and three
back to
voices would
being you.
would yell, Connie Jean. And that was, I loved that. One time I came home from working and I walked in and opened the door and expected to hear that quiet. But I knew they were there, and I thought, oh, have I done something? What am I? And I walked in, you guys were just in a serious conversation that you didn't acknowledge me. And I said, what about Connie G? And we all laughed. Remember that?
I'll go out and come back in again. You can do it all over again.
Yeah, yeah. So that was a thing. So I was still looking around,
Yes.
but not as
Yes.
serious as before. I mean,
Hmm.
Um, I can't remember how.
There was also something important that happened in your life
Oh yeah,
while you were
the
there.
most important. Well, before I left El Paso, I was going to different churches and trying to find the Lord, and I was really confused because I told Don one time I went to a church, and they went. It was a meeting learning about the church that I went to, and they hired me to teach Sunday school. They didn't even know me.
On your first meeting.
Yeah. And then I went, well, this isn't working out. I'll try another church. I went to another church and I was invited to the same kind of meeting, but it was an Amway distribution meeting.
Oh,
So I thought, well, this is,
what is it? Why do we shoot
yeah,
ourselves in the foot? It seems like a lot,
yeah, yeah.
as
So I wasn't
church.
sure,
Yeah.
but I knew for sure Uncle Jerry loved Jesus and that if I wanted answers, that's where I was going to go. And when I
Hmm.
did get to San Diego, I did ask Jesus to be my savior. And that was the turning point for everything. I call it
Yes.
my life before and my life after.
Hmm.
So it
And you
was
had some
LP
confirmation
and
too.
LA.
Yes. And you had some confirmation too when we went over to John Butkey's and Lonnie Frisbee's house,
Right.
which a lot of people probably know Lonnie Frisbee's name or who he is now from the movie The Jesus
Hmm.
Revolution.
Yeah.
And so we were with him, and
And at that time,
something
yeah,
happened.
I had no
Yeah.
idea who Lonnie Frisbee was or any of these people. Like I was brand new to San Diego. So I was trying to be the wallflower sitting in a corner, kind of hiding.
Hmm.
I didn't want to be pointed out or anything. Um, and then there was prayer time and he was praying and he goes, well, God is sending me a message to God is sending a message to someone named Connie, and he wants you to know things aren't going to work out like you want them to, but he has a plan. Well, I didn't understand what was happening at the time, but we were driving home and Don said, did you hear what he said? And I just started crying and crying because I wanted my way. I wanted it to work out my way.
Don't we all?
Yep. I
Yeah.
wanted,
Until we find out his way is better.
yeah. So that was, I've always held that in my heart that,
Hmm.
okay, God knows me. He's seen me. Um, he has a plan and I'm going to
Hmm.
be in it. So
Hmm.
that was really a beginning of um, a faith journey for me, I guess you'd say.
Hmm.
And then it was November after I'd been there all this time. It came November, and Andy had sent me a ticket to go to Dallas for Thanksgiving.
He's
So
still trying.
still trying, and I said, oh, I was thinking, okay, I can maybe I'll do that. I don't know. And then Uncle Jerry came and one evening said, oh, there's this group called Christian Emergency Relief Teams, and they're going on a mission to Honduras to go along the Honduras-Nicaragua border. And this was during the Sandinista-Contra War. And
Hmm.
we were going to go along the border and scout where a group called Mosquito Indians were fleeing because they were just leaving Nicaragua because they were being murdered and killed and all that kind of stuff,
Hmm.
persecuted, just with what they could carry. So we were trying to find a spot, a spot where they could all get to receive
Hmm.
medical treatment, food, whatever they needed. So that was our.
Did you did you say that? If I remember back at that time when they were escaping with just what they had, did they have to like cross a river like to get
Yeah,
to from Nicaragua to
yeah, but it
Honduras?
wasn't very deep. It was like not very
Yeah, it
wide
was like
either.
walking across or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and yeah,
and they
so
brought a bell or something like that.
yeah, one
I,
group
I
brought a
remember.
bell from their church. They were
Mm,
they were
yeah.
mostly Catholic. So yeah,
So So
So I had
CERT
a
or
choice.
Christian
Yeah.
relief, this relief team was going to go there, and
Hmm.
Dad wanted you to, when you don't know what to do with your life, take a mission trip.
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
isn't that it's true,
Hmm. Well, here was the deal. I could spend the last $2,000 I had to my name. That's it. And go to Honduras on this mission trip, or I could go to Dallas and see Andy. So I was like waffling back and forth because the old self really wants what it wants, right?
Hmm.
But I knew that was wrong. But so I prayed. I was babysitting some kids in San Diego, and I remember praying, and then I went to bed. And in the night, I had this dream, and it was a man, the back of a man in a white um, dress. What do you call that? Like what they
A
wear
robe,
yeah,
like
a robe
a tunic.
with sandals on and long dark hair with his hand back. And the voice said, "You can either follow me or stay in this pit." Well,
Ooh.
that was big. I mean, I couldn't believe it. I was like struck. And so the first thing I could do was call and say, "I'm going." Um, you know,
Wise choice.
yeah. So
Yeah, I don't want to be in the pit.
no, no. So I did. I went on this trip, and I'll never know why I was there. I just followed along, followed the group, looking for a place. We did take some
Hmm.
shoe boxes, and in one one little village, we distributed them to some kids. And I remember we were washing in the river, dirty river. We didn't have, I mean, oh man. This was so far away from my comfort zone. You can't even imagine.
Hmm.
I think I wore the same clothes the whole time. I asked the Lord to keep me from going to the bathroom so I didn't embarrass myself. Really.
Oh my
I
gosh.
know. We slept on the ground. We slept in little dinghy boats. We slept in hammocks. I was carrying a 50-pound pack, walking across. It was really Indiana Jones because there's nothing there.
Hmm.
So you give up a lot of vanity too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I think it was a 2-week trip.
Hmm. And
And
as I understand, you had some people with you.
well, that's the story after. Oh, yeah. Well,
Okay.
no, there were several Navy SEALs in our group.
Hmm.
And it was interesting. So I just thought they were scouting places. So they were going off and coming back and off and coming back. And there was this one guy. I went, "Oh Lord, this is why you're having me here. This is the guy." His name was Dan because I we were going to get in a boat to go on the river, and
Hmm.
he was walking ahead of me with long hair and sandals and a white shirt. And I went, "Oh." So then I thought,
That's what I had that's my dream.
"Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
gosh, Lord, that's it.
Thank
Yes.
you, thank you." So I came home with that in mind, and um, nope, that wasn't the plan. So
Dan was not the man.
no, he wasn't. It's so funny. Oh dear. So anyway, um,
So what did you okay, I just for the listeners, um years later, what did you find out? You thought you were on a mission trip
yeah,
and you did a few little mission you did do
some
some
things, yeah.
contact
We had
with
a nurse
with
with
the
us, and yeah,
Indians, and but you were on the move a lot. You were in I remember you talking about being in a church and guys
with and
coming in and, "Oh,
with
this is it."
yeah, with they were well, they didn't come in, but the churches didn't have windows or doors; they just opened, so you could see them on the front porch part. And they had the big MK-47s in there where they were arguing and with the people we were with. And so I
Mhm.
think I don't know what I don't really know what happened, but I remember laying there, and then another guy that was with us the next day, he said he thought the same thing, that okay, this is it. We're done. You
Mhm.
and I didn't have any reservations or fears. I was just like, okay, it'll be fast anyway. Well, no,
Machine gun, fast.
they
Yeah.
they went away, and the next morning we found out what it was about and everything. And so, you kind of wonder, but we found out, well, my husband's part of an organization called Firefighters for Christ, and the president of the group was named John White, and he knew all the people with this cert, and he knew that he told us that this particular guy that was the head of it used
Mhm.
us as a cover for um, the Navy SEALs who were with us, and that they were actually there on military things. So,
Oh.
but my whole deal,
So this is kind of like your FBI
yeah,
coming
there.
real,
Oh, I didn't ever think of that. Well, I didn't know. I was just some following along, like I said. I don't remember talking much. I remember just I felt like God had an umbrella over me and everything was bright under there,
Mhm.
and I was just happy as can be in terrible circumstances. And um, like one time we separated two groups. One went one way and I went with this other group, and our truck broke down out in the middle of nowhere. And well, lo and behold, here comes one to help. That should have been a clue. I don't know. But yeah, and then okay, so that happened, and I think that was just my first really big step of faith that God had in his
Mhm.
plan. This is part of it. Well,
Mhm.
um when we got back, it was so we left right after Thanksgiving. I think we left Thanksgiving Day
Mhm.
because we went to your picnic with your family, and then you took me to the
Mhm.
airport. And then got back in December, and so was going to go home for Christmas. And I went into the CERT office one last time the day before I was leaving because they asked me to come in and do a little bit of work. And so I did, but I was supposed to be able to leave by like 10 o'clock. Well, they kept coming and saying, "Oh, could you stay and do this? Because there's not going to be anybody in the office for this and this, and you can leave at noon." Sure. Well, then um, they come in, "Oh, can you please stay longer? Because this group from Leona Valley is bringing down shoe boxes and beans and rice and stuff to take over there." And I'm going,
Mhm.
"No, I can't. Oh man." And they're saying, "You can show them video, and since you just got back, tell them about it all over there because they're a bunch
Mhm.
homeschooled kids and coming with this church." And I went, I did it, but I really wanted to leave because I was leaving for Idaho the next day, and another aunt and uncle were visiting, and I wanted to
Mhm.
be back there at Don's house. So anyway, they
Mhm.
came and I did my speech really fast and said thank you for coming, and out the door I went out the back door. I was gone. And then that I didn't think about them ever again. Well, for a while.
Mhm.
So then I went to Idaho, and now I'm in Idaho, and I'm still trying to decide what I want to do. Do I want to work at Seaport Village and substitute, or and it's really hard. It was in the 80s when things were really hard,
Mhm.
getting jobs
Mhm.
and stuff like that. So I stayed in Idaho clear till February, and then I decided to come back to San Diego. My mom and I drove down and got back, and I was ready to, start trying to find a job and do all this stuff. And I went into the CERT office, and I had a letter, and it was from Patrick Stilson. I had no idea who Patrick Stilson was. Like, I don't know. I don't remember. Um, and he said he was really happy to meet me. And she said,
Did I
this
meet
is
you?
this is the group that you talked to. And I went, "Oh." So I had I drove around with the letter in my car a couple of weeks. And then, so it was Valentine's.
So why
I,
did you leave it in your
I just
car?
did, I was kind of in the point where I'm not interested in dating. I'm done. I was kind of like just
Mhm.
looking, what does God have for me? And I'm happy as being what I am. And,
Mhm.
but he didn't help me find a job at that point. Anyway, um, so it felt like it kept beaming at me, like, oh, flashing at me. You know how you put stuff in your car and you forget about it? Well, this I didn't forget
Yeah.
about. So
Mm.
I wrote back, and he said actually the day he got my letter, that morning in his prayer, he'd say, "Okay, Lord, this wasn't what you had planned. I thought it was, so I give up." And then he got my letter. And then, huh?
Oh, I said, oh,
And then he called, and he was coming to San Diego with his singles group to go to Wild Animal Park. And I thought,
which is now called the Safari Park,
okay,
San Diego Zoo Safari Park. I liked Wild Animal Park better.
yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, Don worked there. So I thought,
I
oh,
worked there for
okay.
4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I could do that, a singles group. Okay. And find out who this guy is. Well,
Hmm.
the day came and he showed up. He was the single by himself. He swore
We have I'm the single group
but
right
he
here.
swears
Yeah.
to this day that there was many others, but they kept canceling, which it worked out fine because we went to the Wild Animal Park, and Don was actually working at a station where uh, you could take elephant rides. So he says I tricked him, but I really didn't. I said you can go on an elephant ride, but he thought I would go with him. But no, I need to
Hmm.
talk to Don.
Oh yeah, we girls, we had to have our check-in. Yeah.
I don't know, what did we decide that day?
Well, you just had to give me his,
Yeah,
what you were thinking, and I guess
it was okay. Yeah,
you were okay
I thought he
with
had a
him.
beautiful
Yeah.
smile. Huh?
I don't know if I don't think
Yeah,
oh yeah, he
and
has a beautiful smile.
pretty brown
And
eyes.
your girls do too.
Do you want to know how?
Mhm. And he's funny. He's a really funny guy.
It's funny.
Um,
Yeah.
but I think there was maybe a potential, but I don't think you were quite ready yet, or felt ready.
Mm-mm. It didn't fit my vision of what
Mhm.
I was
Mhm.
looking for.
Yeah.
So God knows what you want. It's so, I think about this a lot. He knew my deep down, deepest
Mhm.
heart was that I wanted to be married. I wanted to have children. I wanted to be a
Mhm.
mom and a wife. Um,
And
I always thought I would
yeah.
have that, but I was getting so old. I thought, oh no, I'm done. This is over. But no,
Yeah. Because you were
um,
33 at this time?
33, yeah,
32 or
34,
33,
something like that.
something like that. And you're waiting for this. But I think would now be a good time to talk about Pat's preparation?
Pat? Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
how
go
he
ahead.
prepared?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, he was 31, so I'm a little older than him. But
Cougar. Are
yeah,
you a cougar?
I am, in the sense of the word. But he built his own home. It was a
Mhm.
three-bedroom house, a little ranch style up on a hill in Leona Valley.
Mhm.
He had a family orchard. Um, just the whole setup. He was
Yes,
ready.
he knew God was going to give him a wife and a family. So
Hmm.
bought the land, had the house built, planted the orchard. I mean, everything. It was ready for
Yeah.
family. And he was it, he I was telling Connie, it reminded me of Noah. Like,
Oh,
okay, I'll build the ark. It'll take, I don't know when this flood's going to happen, but I'll do it. And that's what he
yeah.
did. He prepared a place for her long before he ever knew her. So I think that's really cool.
Yep. The only thing he did wrong was he put deer antlers above the fireplace, so I had to take those down. They went in the
Okay.
garage. Uh-huh. But yeah.
So after date
So,
one at the Wild Animal Park, how did the relationship proceed from there?
well, he kept making dates, and he'd drive down 3 hours and drive back 3 hours.
Mm.
And occasionally I would go up to Leona Valley, and his mom and dad lived in a place called Lake Hughes that wasn't very far from there, and I would stay there. And we really didn't spend that much time together. Um,
Were you on the,
but
did
when
you
we
call
did,
or write?
yeah, no, not writing.
Mm.
But the time we did spend together was very intense. You know, um, like a year's worth of getting to know somebody in a couple of months,
Mhm.
kind of thing. And so we'd been seeing each other only like maybe April, not very long.
Mhm.
And we're driving in his Bronco car going to Leona Valley. And
Mhm.
I'll never forget, we were driving past this hill called Gody Hill. And he said, not even looking at me, he said, well, we're not getting any younger. Do you want to get married? So romantic.
It's all you ever dreamed
I know.
of.
And I was stunned again. And you can't imagine all the thoughts and everything that went through my mind. And I said, well, just a minute, just a minute. And I looked at him, and he looked at me, and our eyes just kind of, it was like, okay, yeah, that's what we're supposed to do. So then we got engaged.
Are you craving a love story that defies all the odds? Well, check out my other podcast, Love Unexpected, where I share my unbelievable journey of how I met my husband. You see, I went on this whirlwind 2-week tour in Europe, and I returned to the States engaged. And that was just the beginning. We didn't see each other again until 17 days before the wedding. This story is just packed with twists, leaps of faith, and unforgettable romance. So join me in finding love unexpected, where love always finds a way. You can listen now on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts. All right, we're back. So you've had such a romantic proposal
Yeah, it was
in a
great.
Bronco as you're
All the,
driving,
yeah, but what a
saying
story, huh?
of all the things to say, we're not getting any younger. Like, thank you.
Well, that's what
Thank you. Yes. Like, I
he
didn't know that.
he is a truth teller. You'll never find a dishonest anything in him. He doesn't have
Mm-hmm.
any. Nope, he tells it as it is.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's very hard to take, but it is.
Mm-hmm.
But his character was one of the things that was really attractive to me, because I had a father who was very strong of character. Everybody loved my dad.
Mm-hmm.
He was and he was the same. Never would he ever lie or do anything dishonest. He was just, so there was that. And
Your dad was very, very, very loved.
mhm.
Yeah.
And then my mom was the bot, kind of the, what, I don't want to say bot, but she was the one who kept me in check.
Mm-hmm.
Always telling me what I should be doing and not doing. And he was that too. He's my mom. And he would say things, and we had lots of little arguments about stuff, but um he one thing he told me is I was teachable, and I went, I don't know if I like that. But anyway, we went on, and lots of interesting times and talks. And so you asked me the other day, when did I think I really fell in love with him? And
Mm-hmm.
I don't, love takes, the kind of love that I have now for him takes a long time. It
Mm-hmm.
grows and builds, but so like I said, I was attracted to his character. I was
Mm-hmm.
attracted to his honesty. And then we were at Balboa Park on a date, and we went to the observatory, and we were in line, and a lady fainted, and he's a fireman, so he went straight to her. And I was so impressed about how gentle and kind and soft and reassuring he was to this lady.
Mhm.
I even started crying because I was so impressed.
Wow.
And I thought, oh, wow, yeah, this is going to be great. So, um, fast forward, we got married in June 15th.
So
And it's been
you met, really like
in
met face to
fe-
face in
February.
February. You got engaged in April,
Yeah.
and then you got married in June.
Hmm. And we're
And
still married.
just a quick question. I did did he pick out your ring or did you pick out your ring? Because I remember
This has
just,
been a sore spot for me forever, but his mother picked it out.
oh, okay.
Oh dear.
Maybe I shouldn't have asked that.
Just a lot of silly things like that.
Oh, okay. So now we were preparing for your wedding,
Okay, but I want to
and it
say one
was
thing about his mother picking
okay.
that out. Um,
Okay.
Pat didn't date much, and he was really
Hmm.
not, he just didn't know girls or how to, he didn't have any of that
He's not
finesse.
a girly man, which is
No.
funny that you guys had then two girls who are
Yeah.
very, you
Yeah.
know, feminine,
Yeah. So he wanted,
outdoorsy but
so
feminine.
he wanted his mom to pick something nice out. So,
Mm,
okay.
okay.
Okay. Now what did you ask me?
Okay, so now we're preparing for your wedding.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, and you got married on his, was it on his parents?
Yeah. In his parent, his dad's Christmas tree farm.
Oh, see, now here we are, Hallmark movie. Dad's
Yeah.
Chris on the Christmas tree farm.
Yeah. And your dad was the pastor who married us. Yeah.
And I got to be the maid of honor.
Yep. And we had big hats like we were Southern belles, kind of.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Kind of, I think you chose kind of a, I want to say Great Gatsby
Yeah. Because it
theme.
was when I went to pick out a wedding dress, you usually have to do that so far in advance. This one was on sale and
Hmm.
fit me. So that's what I got. I mean, I didn't plan stuff out. I
But it was
just,
perfect. It was perfect for like an outdoor garden
hmm
wedding.
yeah.
It was
Yeah.
beautiful. We had little Howard with us. Hmm.
Little Howard.
Yeah, which for people who it's a little stuffed rabbit that used to travel back from between Connie and me.
And
Little
he
Howard.
was the ring bearer. Yeah.
So,
Yep.
and we're gonna have photos, by the way, of your wedding, so they can see us back in the '80s,
Yeah.
um, with our short hair and
Did
yeah,
you have short hair then?
big perms.
Big
Yes, that's
perms.
I had big perms, short hair. Um, yes, we were quite styling at
Yeah.
that time. And so, unexpectedlovestories.com, under Connie's episode, please go there and see our pictures, the wedding pictures of
Okay.
Connie, and we'll put some other pictures of her family there. Beautiful family. So you got married,
Hmm.
went on
And
a
oh yeah, we
went
went
on
on an
a
Alaskan cruise,
mm-hmm,
and that was fun. And then we got back to Leona Valley, and life began. And as a fireman, his shift was so I got thrown into a whole new lifestyle because
mm-hmm,
he would work 24 hours, be off 24 hours, and do that for 3 shifts, and then be off for two, and then so I was left alone a lot.
mm-hmm.
And I thought, well,
On a
this works.
house on a hill in a tiny town. Did you even have, was it like one flashing light or something like that?
No,
No lights. A
four-way
stop
stop,
sign? Four-way
four-way
stop.
stop,
Okay. Tiny town.
tiny town.
Tiny town
So,
in
yeah,
the
and
desert.
here's another story from God. So it was during that summer. It was really hot. It was in August, and what was he? He was a serial killer that would break in windows. Do you remember him? And
No.
yeah, but
And it was
anyway, it
up in
was
your area?
no, it was just in California. But of course,
Okay.
so he Pat had a swamp cooler, and you had to have a window open for it to cool the house down. But
Mhm.
with the serial killer out there, the Night Stalker, he was the Night Stalker.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, he was, but he could have come up there. I don't know what found me up on the hill. So there is no way I was gonna um open my window. So I was in there sweltering. I didn't want to turn off the light. I was having a little anxiety because I was all
Mhm.
out there alone. And then so I started reading the Bible. And
Mhm.
in Psalms, there's a verse that says, I will lie down and rest in peace, for you
Mhm.
alone, O Lord, make me dwell in safety. Um, Peace just washed over me. I opened the window, turned off the light, and went to sleep. And I've
Oh, good.
always, and so I carried that with me. And I still do, because now I'm doing the same because he's gone again.
Mhm.
So, yeah. So you have to learn to be a fireman's wife has to learn to be versed in many things. Like when he's gone, there's no help if something breaks down. You can't really call and say, my car broke down, or there's this, there's
Yeah.
that. So you don't want to worry them while they're on the job. And then
Well, and
still,
and he didn't work near you. He worked down
oh,
in
in
Los
LA, yeah.
Angeles.
hmm
So,
He's a LA city fireman, so he would leave at 4 every morning when he would go and
mhm.
be gone till the 24 hours later or whatever.
Mhm.
And then we came home. Sometimes he was just too tired. So, because sometimes they were up all night depending on the station he was working at.
Mhm.
So that was all. And that lifestyle really suited me. I grew and bloomed, and I was in a really great church and learned more and more about Jesus, became grounded more and more. Um, like you said, we had two daughters who it was, I don't know, the best part of my life was when they
Mhm.
were kids and growing up, and um, everything that went on, and with raising two daughters, and they were just absolutely beautiful, wonderful girls. I was telling my youngest one last night, or no, my oldest one last night. I said, because she was talking about a girl who'd run away from home and stuff, and I went, yeah, you guys were such wonderful teenagers. You never gave us any angst,
Mhm.
really. Um, so And the Lord brought special people into each of their lives that they grew, and they both loved the Lord. And my youngest daughter and her husband work in a ministry at Hume Lake, California. And my oldest daughter um, is in Tehachapi with her family, and they're just all wonderful,
Yeah.
love the Lord. And now I have 7 grandkids who now, okay, so they're the second best thing. Um,
Mhm.
Having grandkids is an amazing thing.
Mhm.
And God has just been, He knew the desires of my heart, even though I didn't.
Mhm.
And he keeps adding on and on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's my story.
And how long have you been married?
39 years.
39 years.
And I didn't,
Will this
I,
year will this year be 40? Wow. That's right, because this is, yeah,
25.
2025. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And you've discovered more and more about him, because I remember you guys went through difficult times with him having to study to become the fire chief
Then a captain. And
and
yeah.
oh yeah, captain and all this. So
And
there
then
was
also he
a
went through some
lot of,
really hard times on the job because he was in the Rodney King riots. And
mm,
he was an engineer at that time, and he was driving the truck, and they were being shot at. They had police escorts. They had guys riding on the truck with guns. They'd put out a fire and go to a next one and have to go back to the other one because it got started again. And it was just, it he it was awful for him, and he still carries some of that
It's
PTSD
like
about.
PTSD. Yeah. Yeah,
Mhm,
definitely.
mhm,
Hmm. Takes special people to do that.
mhm. He is a special
Yeah.
people.
Yes, he is.
And you know, like you said, there's hard times, but when you have God and you know that God is the one who put you here, and
Hmm.
there's no doubt, you're willing to put yourself aside and do what you have to do to be the partner that
Yeah.
you should be.
Yeah. I love that.
And and I would say now Pat and I are like best friends.
Hmm.
He's I know everything about him. He knows everything about me. He still tries to boss me around, but that's okay. He can do that.
That's
He's
okay.
just very organized, and he's a type A personality. So, and I'm not. I'm a girls just want to have fun personality. So, but we work.
Yes. You guys work very well together.
Yeah.
And we're
So,
able to raise incredible kids. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, real quick question. Is there any advice that you'd give to someone who's looking for love or in those early stages of their relationship?
I would say really dig deep into the Lord. Just let Him nourish your soul. Let Him guide you, and be patient. And
Hmm.
don't, I mean, I did all these things where I was trying to, oh, this is what God wants. But you'll know, I mean, patient is really a big one.
Hmm.
To be able to wait. I tell my
Hmm.
grandkids this because they always want it right now. And so I always tell them, in my life, the things that I really, really wanted and I waited for are the best treasures of mine. When I just get something just because, I mean, I forget about it in a week or so, just because I wanted it
Hmm.
at the time on an impulse. So waiting on the Lord and really trusting that He's got the plan.
Hmm.
And
Yep.
it's hard. It's not, I mean, those are easy words to say, but that's a hard thing to do,
Yes, that's
especially when
true.
you're in the midst of hurt.
Well, I hope everyone can see why I absolutely love Connie's story. I think it's a story of redemption. You know, it's a story of God's incredible
Sovereignty.
love. Yeah,
Hmm.
He's sovereign, and again, realizing that He isn't. He's interested in every parts of our life, including our love lives and our
Hmm.
partners, and that we
Hmm.
can trust Him. We don't have to uh, keep putting ourselves out there and keep putting ourselves out there and keep putting ourselves out there and hope that or someone likes us. I always say it's like, being a bowl of gel, like I'm going to put myself out on the buffet like a bowl of jello
Yeah.
and hope that someone comes along and wants me as a main meal.
Yeah. But the
That's
problem of
not
that, people come and nibble and take parts of you, and then it's not good.
exactly, exactly. So instead, seeing that you are valuable, and that God sees you as valuable, and that He is going to, if you let Him,
Hmm.
take you on a journey that will take you to
Yeah.
the perfect counterpart, the perfect one that will help you grow,
And we're
you
we're
know.
all walking in it on a journey in this life, and it's
Hmm.
really such a better life when you take Jesus's hand and walk the journey with Him.
Yep. Don't choose the pit.
No. Yeah, that's good.
Oh, yeah. So remember, friends, you can go to our website, unexpectedlovestories.com, and go to it's going to be in this episode guide, so that you can just click there. It'll go straight to the link that has Connie's episode, and We'll have pictures from the wedding. Again, you'll see us. Also, just a real quick thing, you can also see Connie in my wedding. If you go to my podcast about
Oh yeah.
how I met my husband, yes, loveunexpected.us. She's in the last couple of episodes from season 3 because she was there. She was my matron of honor. And so she was there for my bridal shower. She was there for the reception.
With my
Well,
2 little girls.
with the rehearsal. Yeah, both of her girls
We're in the
are in it.
wedding.
Yep. So when you see so there's like, I guess what, 2 or 3 episodes that your pictures are in. Beautiful pictures, and
Yep.
her daughters.
And
And
Julie was
there's
the hit
also
of the
the
wedding when
video.
Vishik was walking down the aisle because she was in front of him. Remember that, Julie? Faster. No, slower. No.
No, that was Steve Ski telling her that.
Oh, Steve.
Yeah, she went down with Steve, and Steve was like, "Walk faster, walk slower, walk faster, walk slower." So yes, you can see Connie in my episode, my podcast, and you can see me in her episode photos. So go and visit those, please. We can't wait for you to experience that with us. Thanks for being with us. Be blessed. Listeners, we'd love to hear from you. Please connect with us and share your comments about this episode on YouTube, Spotify, or whatever streaming platform you use. We want you to become a part of the conversation. So please go to our website, unexpectedlovestories.com, and share your love story with us. You can find a link to it in our episode guide. And while you're there, check out the photos of couples from each episode. We'd love you to share our podcast with your family and friends so that they can enjoy these stories as well. Unexpected Love Stories can be found on all their favorite podcast platforms.